To another exciting episode of Forward Live. This is the show, the podcast, the live stream where we talk about real solutions to real problems, real shit that impacts real people. And today I want to talk about two of my favorite subjects. And I'm going to join them together in a way that you may or may not have heard or seen before. That's this: love and leadership. The first thing I want to talk about is leadership, because leadership is basically the art or the science of leading people into places that they ordinarily wouldn't go and to do things that they ordinarily would not do. In other words, what you're doing is you're helping people through leadership to unlock their potential to do things that they have the capacity or the potential to do, but otherwise wouldn't on their own. And to take them into places that they ordinarily wouldn't go. It's just like when explorers went to different places, there had to be leadership to take the people into the places, into uncharted territory, to take them into places that they hadn't been before. And that's what leadership is all about. Leadership is really helping people to extract their potential. It's helping people unlock their value. That's the purpose of leadership. Now, before I get into love, I want to talk about how people often conflate leadership and management. And this is a huge one, and this happens a lot in American business and probably happens in business elsewhere. But it's this: leadership, again, is taking people places that they wouldn't go or ordinarily wouldn't go, and to do things they ordinarily wouldn't do. Management, on the other hand, is simply managing the state of people or the state of resources. It's not, management is not leadership. Leadership is basically when you can take someone and say, hey, I see the potential in you to do this, that, or the other, where they didn't see it in themselves, and you give them the nudge, you give them the exhortation, you give them the push that helps them to overcome their sticking points and to do those things. Management, on the other hand, is just saying, okay, I have this number of people, this number of resources, this amount of time. All I'm doing in management is keeping the store from burning down. Now, you could say that good management will increase return on investment or increase value. And yes, that's possible. But in order to really see sea changes in how things are done, you need leadership. And one of the things that's really lacking, I think, in business, in education, in politics, in the military, in so many areas, is what they call a dearth. Look it up, DEARTH, of leadership. That's a new word, in case you didn't know. This dearth of leadership is what causes businesses to either stagnate, regress, or fail. But when you have good leadership, see, leadership empowers and engenders vision. The ability to see ahead, the ability to see forward, because you can't move forward unless you can see forward. And that's why leadership is so important. Now, you're probably asking at this point, well, Derrick, where does love come into this? Well, love, you have to break down love into its elemental components. And the elemental components of love are empathy and compassion. If you don't have empathy, in other words, if you don't have the ability to see things through the eyes of others, to take a walk in the footsteps of others, you don't have empathy. And one of the big problems, one of the big failures of this country right now is this lack of empathy. People are going through things, minorities, people who encounter sexual discrimination, people who encounter cultural discrimination, racial discrimination, all of these things there has to be empathy for what people go through. Because if you don't have empathy for what people go through, you can't effect change that will impact the lives of these people positively. The second thing is compassion. Compassion simply says, I care. I actually give a fuck. Right? And the problem is that a lot of people don't care. Listen, for something, it shouldn't have to happen to you for it to matter to you. There are things that people go through that may not ever impact your life in any direct or meaningful way, but that doesn't mean that you should be dismissive of those things. In other words, empathy says that I'm going to listen. I'm going to put myself in your place, to walk a mile in your shoes, to see how it feels. Because if I understand how it feels, now I can say, that's not good. Now, how does all of this fit together? Because if you are trying to lead people, create vision that is going to take people into places that they ordinarily wouldn't go and to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do, you absolutely have to have empathy for how they think, how they feel, how they see things. What are the things? What are the limiting thoughts, the limiting beliefs? What are the things that would keep them from moving forward? What are the things that would keep them from doing the things that will elevate them to the next level? So you have to absolutely have empathy for that. And the second thing is that if you're going to lead, you have to have compassion. You have to actually care about the people in your charge. This is a big problem in American business and education and a lot of areas in the Western world. There is no compassion. People do things without feeling. They do things without caring. And listen, I am all for logic and reason. I absolutely am. I'm all for structured, methodical approaches to doing things. But you have to remember the humans are people who have emotions, who have feelings, coupled with their thoughts. And a lot of times these emotions, these feelings, are drivers of thought. And so if you don't care, it's impossible to lead. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So if you're going to be an effective leader, you have to be a caring leader. You have to be an empathetic leader. In other words, you have to, at a very fundamental level, love the people in your charge. If you don't love people, you don't belong in leadership. Period, full stop. Because the thing is, you're trying to get people to see beyond themselves, to see beyond their own innate ability, to see beyond what they think their potential is. You're helping as a leader to unlock the potential, to unlock the value of the individuals in your charge. Now, if you don't understand how love works with leadership, I would sincerely suggest that you take time to understand what love is from an elemental concept and understand what leadership is. And once you understand the two of those things discreetly, then you can begin to dovetail or merge these things together into a holistic approach toward leading and guiding people. And understand this, that if you are incapable of leading yourself, you are incapable of leading others. If you're trying to get people to go somewhere or to do something, you yourself have to be prepared to do that. And also, if you don't have empathy and compassion for yourself, you cannot have empathy and compassion for others. It's impossible. This is why we have to make sure that we are secure in ourselves, that we understand ourselves, and that we also have grace for ourselves. In other words, where we're willing to walk a mile in our own shoes and also to have concern and care for ourselves. Because again, if you don't have this for yourself, it's literally impossible to do it for others. And if that's the case, leadership isn't in your wheelhouse. Real simple. So there are a lot of people that look at leadership and they say, hey, I think I could do that, or I really want to become a leader. Now, let me say this, that some people are born leaders. Some people are natural born leaders. It just comes to them naturally. For others, and I sincerely believe that every human being has leadership potential. But the way to get leadership, first of all, you're not going to get leadership from a book. What you're going to get leadership from is by partnering with a leader. In other words, becoming a protege to a leadership mentor, where this person mentors you, and they're able to lead you and guide you and to show you what leadership looks like by example. And then once you've seen it modeled in someone else, you have a prototype by which you can manufacture leadership within yourself. Okay, so you're not going to learn it by a book. You'll only learn it by impartation, and that means you're going to have to find someone who is a leader, who you can be close to, who you can learn from, and that person can help share leadership with you. So that's pretty much what I have for you today. I hope that it helps. Please, if this benefits you in any way, like it, share, subscribe to it, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Please like and share this with others so that they too can benefit from what you've heard. And also be sure to tune in on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Phreology Friday, where Aaron Tomlinson and I, we chop up a multitude of subjects, really good stuff. Go out to YouTube and check out some of the videos that we've done there. Also some of the Facebook Lives that we've done, because it's really, really good stuff. And I think that it will help encourage, edify, and exhort you in many different ways. So that's it. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. I hope that you have a fantastic week, and I would like to see leadership cultivated in you. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat below, and I would love to hear from you and hear about them, and we could talk about them. We could chat about them either in the thread or offline, whichever you prefer. So until the next time, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be filled